Jarrett's going to follow him. Try to follow him anyway.
Boy, it's tough sometimes to get traction down on the inside. You cut that corner off pretty short coming off there. You need to be in position to make these turns as wide as possible. But when you're down on the inside of someone, you have to cut the car a little bit closer coming off, and it breaks traction with you. But Ken Schrader gives Jarrett some room there to make the pass. Kenny Wallace is running good now after he came back out. He spent a lot of time behind the wall, but he has been running good.
That's Wallace in the Dirt Devil Pontiac, car number 40. Might mention Pontiac, how well they have done as manufacturers' points this year. They're 1 point behind going into this event. And, of course, Rusty in a Pontiac has the lead. Here's a battle for position. That's Terry Labonte in 14 and Darrell Waltrip in 17.
Battling for 7th. Darrell has it. Labonte, now he came out of the pits behind Jarrett and Martin. Passed both of them. Ran Waltrip down. Now trying to pass him. Well, I'll tell you, that bang-up car that he got early in the race. In fact, I think it was on the second lap when he got this, when Jeff Ledine had the problems over there. And the car is running well for it.
This is Jimmy Hensley's perspective as we saw the in-car there behind Darrell and Terry. There it is.
On the throttle, accelerating down the front straight away. I tell you what, Hensley's got his car adjusted. He's running better now than he has all day. I noticed the last green flag run, his car got extremely loose, but on the caution flag where he breathed, they made Paul Andrews, the crew made some chassis changes, and his car's pretty good right now.
We're only 3.5 laps away from the halfway point of this event. 246 are completed. Rusty Wallace is in turn 3. About to complete 247. Great shot of the foot cam.
As we're watching Jimmy Hensley's feet operate in the Bojangles Ford, we'll say that Kyle Petty, that battle that we were watching, finally got around Hut Strickland for the 3rd position. And they moved away from him a little bit.
And some telemetry now. Slowing down to about 70, 60, 61 miles an hour, then hard on the throttle.
111 miles an hour maximum. Let's watch the RPMs one time. 4,500 to a low, accelerates rapidly. 7, 8, 8,400.
That is 3,800 RPM that again is down to 30.
Wow.
Of course, they build those engines to do that. They put a special cam in them for this racetrack where they have to accelerate off the turns, one that'll gain those RPMs in a hurry.
And while we're watching Jimmy Hensley, we can tell you that Jimmy Spencer, who we earlier reported as possibly having a transmission problem, broke a crank on the car.
I thought when they raised the hood, they was looking for transmission in the wrong place.
The halfway point has been reached. Rusty Wallace is the leader at the halfway point, and our Western Auto Race summary shows that Rusty has led 162 of the first 250 laps. There are 11 cars on the lead lap, 2 leaders, 4 lead changes. The 2 leaders have been Wallace and Strickland. 4 caution periods for 24 laps, and the average speed of 79.82 miles an hour. There is the indication of who has led. Only Wallace and Strickland. Strickland for 88 laps. Out of the race, Bobby Hamilton, Wally Dallenbach, Ernie Irvan, and most recently, Jimmy Spencer. Here's the Western Auto Mechanic of the Year standings. Dale Earnhardt's crew chief Andy Petrie is on top. Buddy Parrott from Rusty Wallace's team is second. Then comes Tony Glover from Ernie Irvan's team, Donnie Wingo from Jeff Bodine's, and Steve Meal from Mark Martin's Valvoline Ford team is fifth in the standings for Western Auto's Mechanic of the Year.
Good competition going there.
Yeah, there sure is. Some real tight competition. And so it is on the racetrack, although Rusty has a rather comfortable lead now. He's about a straightaway ahead of Dale Earnhardt and Kyle Petty in the Haynes 500. Speed so far in the Haynes 500 NASCAR Winston Cup race here at Martinsville is a record 80.254. The current average, the track record is 79.3. That was set by Cale Yarborough in September of 1988.
1978.
I'm sorry, 78. We're very glad to announce to you that we will have all 3 big events from Atlanta Motor Speedway in November. Well, we're going to make this championship weekend because we will determine the champion of the ARCA Series on Friday. On Saturday, the Busch Grand National race, and the champion will be decided there. And then the final NASCAR Winston Cup race of the season on Sunday, the 14th at 12:30 Eastern Time. There is the interval board showing you that Dale Earnhardt is 2.78 seconds behind Rusty. Kyle is 5.25 seconds behind Rusty. Hut Strickland is almost 8 seconds behind, and Allison almost 8.5 seconds behind as Rusty Wallace continues to dominate this event. Everything going well for the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac, but not so well for Mark Martin, who has dropped off the pace in recent laps and now goes a lap down to Rusty.
Boy, the chassis just seems to have gone away on Mark's car. He hasn't run good since this last pit stop, so I don't know if that set of tires he got on was mismatched a little bit or something, but anyway, the car just hasn't run as well for him, so he's a lap down.
The infrared camera we have down in turn 1 can show you things that you will not see with the naked eye. Now watch closely as the cars come down the straightaway. To the left of your screen, you'll see something come off a car. There it is, and it looks like it hits the debris fence and just explodes. What could that have been? Any ideas, guys?
Unless it was part of a brake pad, I can't imagine. It's about the place that the cars are backing off the throttle, about the place they're hitting the brakes. So all I can think is just a piece of the pad came off, flew up in the air.
It was something hot. We know that.
It was hot, yes. Rusty Wallace, if he wins, it will be his 3rd straight.
And after he passed Mark Martin, put him a lap down, there are only 10 cars on the lead lap.
Hut Strickland and Davey Allison. These guys have been running together for seems like about 200 laps.
Well, it was for a while. Kyle Petty was on the back bumper of Hut Strickland. He finally got around him, and then Davey Allison caught him. So that's a familiar sight in his rearview mirror because they did race for seemed like almost 100 laps before. Davey was not able to get around him.
This is 4th and 5th. Strickland 4th. Davey Allison is 5th.
Bill Parsons in the yellow car on the inside, car 41, and here's Davey. Got to run. Bill sees him just like Hillen did, moves over, but Hut Strickland pulls Davey down the back straightaway.
I've noticed a couple of cars that are beginning to make the second groove work a little bit. Darrell Walter, of course, he usually is one of those that can run in the second groove. He's tried several different areas of the racetrack, but they're getting a little bit of traction up in that second groove now, so some of them, so maybe the inside groove is probably just getting real slick.
Autolite field summary showing you the 10 cars were on the lead lap ago. Bill Elliott is 115 laps behind in 30th, although he's still out there.
And Ricky Rudd out there 122 laps behind.
Now, if they could keep running, some of those cars that dropped out recently, like Jimmy Spencer, they would be able to pick up another position, and another position is 3 points.
Brett Bodine, Darrell Waltrip, and Dale Jarrett.
This is 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Inside the Interstate Battery Chevrolet.
Now you see how close they go down to that curb going into turn 3 and coming off of turn 4. But in turns 1 and 2, Darrell had been running a little higher, but he's moved back down now, protecting that territory. There he went a little bit high. That might not have been intentional, though.
Dale Jarrett entering this race 8th in the point standings, 238 behind Rusty Wallace.
He closes up on Darrell right in the middle of the corner. On the throttle hard enough to get alongside and go down the front straightaway or back straightaway.
It doesn't look like he's able to accelerate fully off the turns. I guess it's just slick, and not many of them are able to get that kind of traction, except maybe Rusty Wallace.
Front big sold-out crowd here at Martinsville. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful weather, just like we had last weekend in North Wilkesboro. We'll hope for the same